Have you ever had a brilliant idea for an app, but then you get totally stuck on the whole coding part? Well, today we're going to dive into this new world of vibe coding, which is a whole new way to build software just by using simple instructions. We're putting two of the hottest tools out there, Lovable and Replit, head-to-head in a hands-on test to see which one really comes out on top. So let's kick things off with what vibe coding even is.
So, what's the deal with vibe coding? Think of it like this. You just tell an AI what you want in plain English, and it handles all the complicated code behind the scenes. The whole point is to let you focus your energy on the cool, creative idea, not get bogged down in all the technical details. And honestly, it's opening the door for a whole new generation of creators. For folks who are already seasoned developers, this is a total game changer. It cuts through so much of the tedious stuff in coding, which makes it way faster to prototype new ideas or just squash some bugs. It's really all about shifting that focus from pure complexity to pure creativity. And hey, it might even help prevent burnout from those marathon coding sessions. And this isn't just for the pros, not at all. If you're a founder who's not super technical, or maybe you're just curious about coding, vibe coding makes the whole thing feel way less intimidating. You can learn as you go, at your own speed, and you can actually build simple products without having to hire a whole development team from day one. Okay, let's meet our two contenders. In one corner, we've got Lovable. It's the newer kid on the block, launched in 2024, and it's fantastic for prototypes and MVPs. It's really aimed at non-technical users and founders. And in the other corner, we have Replit. It's been around since 2016, so it's a more established platform that caters to pretty much everyone, from total beginners to really experienced developers. You know, first impressions matter, right? When you open up Lovable, its interface is just simple. It's clean, it's straightforward, and it's absolutely perfect for beginners. Replit, on the other hand, you can immediately tell it has a bit more under the hood. It feels more detailed, very well organized, and it's probably a better fit for users who already have a little bit of experience. So, to make this a really fair fight, we put both tools through a 5-part gauntlet. We used the exact same prompts for each one. They had to build a productivity app, a Discord bot, a portfolio website, a puzzle game, and an analytics dashboard. Let's see how they stacked up. First up, a simple mobile app for managing your daily tasks. The prompt was pretty specific. It asked for a clean, minimal interface with a calming color scheme, to help you focus and stay organized. And whoa, the results were fascinatingly different. Lovable just jumped right in and started building. It delivered a functional, single-screen app that was exactly what the minimal prompt asked for. But Replit, it took a two-step approach. First, it was like, hey, here's the plan. And once that was approved, it went and built a much more detailed 8-screen app with a whole lot more features. So the takeaway here is actually pretty simple. Lovable is your go-to if you just want a basic, personal tool for yourself. But if you're building something more complex, maybe something for other people to use, Replit's more detailed approach definitely gives it an edge. All right, let's move on to test number 2, building a Discord bot that tells random jokes. The prompt was clear. A user types a command and the bot should pop back with a friendly joke. It even asked for a preview of how it would look inside Discord. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because you can see how each AI kind of thinks differently. Lovable gave us a simple interface for grabbing jokes and a really helpful setup guide, but it totally missed that request for a Discord preview. Replit, on the other hand, went a step further and created a whole dashboard with different joke categories and even a feature to add your own new jokes. Yeah, so the verdict on this one, it's pretty clear-cut, because Replit actually built out more of the features we asked for, and then some. It just delivered a more useful tool. This round definitely goes to Replit. Okay, round 3. This time, the challenge was to create a simple, modern portfolio website. We imagined it was for a front-end developer, and we even specified the brand colors and what sections to include, like projects and about me. And you know what? Both platforms did a surprisingly great job here. Lovable totally nailed the brand colors we asked for, but it had a few little layout quirks with some extra white space. Replit's version felt just a little more polished, and it had these really creative, detailed content sections already filled out for us. But honestly, at the end of the day, the results were so similar that you gotta call this one a draw. It's a great example of how for certain really common tasks, like a basic website, both of these tools are actually super capable. So yeah, it's a tie.
All right, time to have a little fun. For test number 4, the prompt was to create a simple drag and drop puzzle game for your phone. We wanted it to have a timer and a you win message to make it a bit more challenging and rewarding. So, Lovable gave us a game that was simple and it worked perfectly, timer and reset button included. But Replit really leaned into the fun part of the prompt. It came back with a game that just looked more fun, and it had extra features like difficulty levels, sound effects, and even a hint button. So what's the verdict here? Well, for pure creativity and just a better app flow, Replit won this round. While Lovable's game totally worked, Replit just delivered a much more complete and engaging experience right out of the gate. And now for the final round, the big business challenge. Create a real-time analytics dashboard for a fashion brand. We asked it to use random data for now, but with a super clean design that was all about graphs and charts. And once again, both tools really created some impressive dashboards. Lovable's was clean, organized, and just incredibly easy to navigate. It was perfectly simple. Replit's was also really nice to look at, but it came packed with more advanced features like filters for date ranges, product categories, and even store locations. So look, the recommendation here really just comes down to scale. If you've got a growing business and you just need a straightforward, easy-to-use dashboard to see what's going on, Lovable is probably the perfect fit. But for a larger company that needs to slice and dice data with more complex filtering, Replit is the better choice. Okay, but as exciting as all this is, we've got to be real for a second. Vibe coding isn't a magic wand. There are a few key limitations you really need to keep in mind. For starters, both tools are super sensitive to your prompts. If you're vague, you're going to get generic results. You're also not getting a 100% polished final product. Both can have weird design flaws, and you'll almost certainly want an expert to look over the code before you actually launch anything. So, what's the final verdict? Honestly, it all comes down to you and what you're trying to do. If you're a beginner, a founder, or a student who just wants to prototype simple ideas really quickly, Lovable's straightforward approach is probably your best bet. But if you're tackling more advanced projects where you need more creative detail and structure, then yeah, Replit is the clear winner. At the end of the day, these tools are all about lowering the barrier to entry and giving more people the power to actually build software. No, they're not perfect, but they represent a huge leap forward. So the real question isn't just which tool is better, but with this kind of power at your fingertips, what are you going to create?